The Morning Show.
It's all about teens and finances on the morning show this morning. So I'm joined by Roy Paul, Executive Director of Sensibility. So thank you so much for joining us, Roy.
Thank you. So good to be with you.
So Sensibility is a nonprofit that teaches and empowers high school students on managing money and finances. So let's get down to it. We all know that most high schools aren't teaching this sort of thing. A lot of parents aren't even teaching this sort of thing to their teenagers. So we all know it's really important, though, especially with mounting student loan debt and mounting just debt in general. So what lessons are children or teenagers not learning about finances that you think every student needs to learn right now, what students need to know before they leave high school?
Yeah, it's all about the basics. It's about the 101s, I call them. And sometimes it's very difficult to talk about them because a lot of people don't have money to talk about. So they feel very uncomfortable about it. But if you're in high school and you're going off to college, I think one of the most important things I like to stress is do not sign your loan documents without knowing what your monthly payment is going to be when you graduate in 4 years. I talk to teenagers all the time, and they say, I'm going to college. And then they say, I'm taking out student loans. And then when I say, what's your monthly payment is going to be in 4 years, they have no clue. So that is something I always stress for the student and for a parent, a guidance counselor, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent. Make sure if you've got someone going off to college, they know what their payment's going to be when they graduate in 4 years.
Yeah, and this is a startling statistic that you shared with me, that 54% of students that you teach never or rarely discuss money with their parents. So that could be a huge issue, right? You have these children that really don't understand anything about money, like how much is coming in, how much is going out. So what can parents do right now to really get their kids on track and start talking about that? What are some really easy things parents can do?
Yeah, it's about making it palatable for everyone. And, you know, these statistics that you read, they apply to teenagers, but they also apply to adults, right? If you say to an 11th or a 12th grader, have you ever created a budget before? Mm-hmm. Do you know what a budget looks like? They will probably tell you no. But then if you ask that same question to a parent or a grandparent, how many people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s use budgets every day or every month for their expenses? A lot of adults don't do this either. So we're trying to teach teenagers in a way that would also teach the parents, but starting off with the conversation. And so if you don't have a budget and you don't know what's coming in or what's going out as an adult, there's no way you can teach that to a teenager.
Absolutely. And then when it comes to budgeting and saving, so a lot of our teenagers are making minimum wage. They're not making a lot. So what can we do to encourage teenagers to save when their checks are so small to begin with?
Yeah, I love that because it comes in all forms, right? Some of it is cash because you're, mowing lawns or something, or if you're working a summer youth job where you're a barista at Starbucks. No, you're not making a lot of money, but I always say start off with encouraging teenagers to save 20% of whatever they make, right? And so it's a very simple principle, but it gets them in the habit of putting something aside that they don't then have to spend. Because every time you get money, everyone's running out somewhere to go spend it. But they're not thinking about what they can do in a very small way to develop good money habits, right? And those will trickle down as you get older, getting your credit card, paying off your minimum payment or more than your minimum payment. When you have a mortgage, don't just pay off the minimum payment if you can pay off a little bit more. You get into the habit of saving and being responsible with your money. So 20%, put it aside, don't touch it.
And what do we need to know about this crippling U.S. student loan debt? I mean, we mentioned it at the top of our interview that students really don't know when they're signing all that paperwork exactly how much their monthly payment's going to be. So what do you tell parents who have kids off to college, or what do you even tell those students who want to go to college about student loan debt? Because we got to get real, because it's a problem.
It's a problem, and it will haunt you until the grave, unfortunately. But once you sign those papers, it's too late, right? You've done it. Even if you don't complete the semester or you don't get your degree, you are still indebted to pay back all of that money. So it is imperative that you really understand what you're doing before you do it. Then walk it back, right? You want to be an actor living in New York City. Can you really afford, $1,000 a month in student loan debt? So be very practical about what your long-term goals are so that you can make the best decision for yourselves right now.
It's all about being practical. Yeah, thank you. So can you tell us a little bit more about Sensibility sensibility and what you do every day and how you work to help families?
Yeah, Sensibility is a 17-year organization that I am passionate about. I can talk to you about it for 5 hours straight, I promise you. I've been here for 4 years. I'm very lucky to have a job that I love, and I get a check to do it. I can't ask for anything better than that. And we partner with schools and organizations for free to provide them with financial literacy curriculum and practices and tools. And so if a school contacts us, no matter where they are, and they say, hey, we want to introduce financial literacy, but we don't have the tools, we will send them our curriculum free of charge. We'll give them professional development if they need it. We have virtual classes that we can offer essentially everywhere to make sure that we get this knowledge out to people who need it the most.
That's awesome. I love people who try to be proactive and help a situation and help something like debt, right? And student loan debt. We talk about it so much, but you're somebody who's putting it into action. So that's great. All right. Thank you so much, Roy, for your time and for giving us some insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
The morning show will be